it is related to tier 1 and tier 2 capital. It is related to the tier 1 and tier 2 capital. So an Indian bank calculated the capital adequacy ratio. So the capital adequacy ratios so calculated by an Indian bank are given as below. So common equity tier 1 capital for the CCB, PNC, PS, PDI, tier 2 capital, total capital available are given over there. And as per the Basel III rules for the Reserve Bank of India for the purpose of reporting of the tier 1 capital, CRAR may access additional tier 1 capital and further tier 2 capital will be recognized in the same proportion as that applicable towards the minimum capital requirements. Okay, and further at minimum 9% of the total capital is to be maintained. The maximum 81 can be 1.5% and the tier 2 can be maximum 2%. So as per the Reserve Bank of India, what are the different capital ratios that are to be maintained? Let me tell you that the capital is further divided into two categories, tier 1 capital and further the tier 2 capital. If you remember, in the tier 1 we are having the two components. One, it is related to the CET1, that is a common equity tier 1 capital, and second one, it is related to additional tier 1 capital. For additional tier 1, the maximum percentage is 1.5%. It is confined to 1.5%, whereas for the CET1, as per the international standard, it is prescribed to be 4.5%, but as per the Indian regulator, it is 5.5%. Is that clear? And this one is a minimum percentage. This one is a minimum percentage, not the maximum one. And further for the tier 2, the prescribed percentage by the BCBS and the regulator is 2%. It is a 2%. So the minimum capital requirement, that is a minimum CAR, it would be basically we can calculate it to be 5.5 plus 1.5, that is equal to 7 plus 2, that is 9%. That is all mentioned over here in this particular paragraph. Okay, so this one is to be calculated as, these one two are to be calculated as a maximum percentage, and further the CET1 is the minimum percentage that is given over there. Okay, so we have already been provided with the that CET1 is 8.5% of the risk weighted assets. CCB, that is a capital conservation buffer, is 2.5% of the risk weighted asset. So I already told you related to the CCB that it is the additional capital that you are maintaining as a bank when you are going through the normal scenarios. When there will be an event of stress, in that particular case it will be an extra cushion. It will be an extra cushion, and Reserve Bank of India guided the bank so as to maintain it in 4 tranches. So the 4 tranches of 0.625. So RBI never said that you are to maintain the CCB straightforwardly to be 2.5%. It is prescribed as 2.5%. Okay, CCB is prescribed to be 2.5%, and RBI said that you are to maintain 4 tranches of 0.625%, and further that will basically make it to be 2.5%. Is that clear? And next it is related to the PNCPS, that is perpetual non-cumulative preference shares, or the PDI, or that is a debt instruments. Okay, so in the case PNCPS or PDI, these basically form the component related to additional tier 1. These are the components related to the additional tier 1, and also the surplus from the additional tier 1 goes to the tier 2 capital. Okay, so that is basically the concept related to it, and further you must be keeping this particular thing in mind while we will be solving the questions related to it. Tier 2 capital further off, it is given to be 2.5% of the risk weighted assets, and the total capital available is 17% of the risk weighted assets. Is that clear? Okay, so now we will be working for the first question, and the first question over here, it says what is the total capital that is the CET1 capital. So you need to answer the question at the earliest, that what would be the CET1 capital. So you need to answer at the earliest that what would be the CET1 capital. So as we know that CET1 over here is given to be what? CET1 over here is given to be 8.5%. Okay, it is clearly given in the question itself, under the table given over here. And also the CCB, that is a capital conservation buffer, is maintained in the form of the tier 1 capital. So it will be 2.5. So the total it will be 11%. So we can say the total CET1 capital is 11%. So one, it is maintained as a CET, that is common equity tier 1 capital, and the other one, it is maintained in the form of the CCB, that is a capital conservation buffer. So let me tell you, the capital conservation buffer is to be maintained in the form of the tier 1 capital, and further that is a common equity tier 1 capital. So the components related to the CCB would be related to the components of the common equity tier 1 capital, and this was clearly asked in the question that we need to tell the total CET1 capital that will basically amount to the CET1 that is we are maintaining as a bank, 8.5% of the risk weighted assets, and also we will be adding up the CCB because CCB is also maintained as the components of the CET1. Okay, so it will be amounting to the it will basically amount to what? It will amount to 11%. So our answer over here will be 11%. Okay, for the question number 1, the answer over here will be 11%. Okay, next question over here, it says, what is the amount of PNCPS or PDI eligible for tier 1 capital? What is the amount of the PNCPS, that is a perpetual non-cumulative preference shares, and the PDI eligible for the tier 1 capital? We need to answer the question relatedly that in the case of the tier 1 capital, what amount of the PNCPS would be eligible over there? Now the PNCPS amount is given to be 3.5% of the risk weighted asset. It is given to be 3.5% of the risk weighted asset. And let me tell you one thing. That in the case of tier 1 capital, we are having the two components. One, it is a CET1 capital, and further PNCPS are not the part of CET1 capital. That is we are already aware of, because we have already gone through the videos related to that. And further, I told you clearly that PNCPS is a component related to the additional tier 1, and if there any surplus arises, that goes to the tier 2 capital. Is that clear? So CET1 is not related to that. So in the case of tier 1, the PNCPS will amount to those only particular amount that can be eligible for the additional tier 1 capital. That can be a component of the additional tier 1 capital. That is basically 1.5%. That is basically maximum limited to 1.5% now. Is that clear? So if we want to calculate the percentage of the PNCPS which is basically eligible for the tier 1 capital, that can be basically maximum of 1.5%, because for additional tier 1 the maximum percentage that the additional tier 1 can be maintained, it is 1.5% of the total capital except that of the CET1 capital. So whatsoever the different components other than that of the that of the CET1, that will be basically related to what? That will be related to the additional tier 1. So it will be the total capital is over here given over here, that is 17%, and the CET1 is given to be 8.5%. So we need to calculate the additional tier 1 from the other capital which is available. So we will be considering it as that 17% minus the 8.5%, and that will be 8.5%, and that will be 8.5%. And further we can do calculate the composition of the PNCPS eligible for the tier 1 capital as 1.5, because it is the additional tier 1 capital only which will be basically using the components of the PNCPS. Okay, so 1.5 divided by the component related to the PNCPS, that is 3.5%. And also, as I already told you, that the PNCPS also forms a component related to tier 2 capital. So that also goes over there. That is 2.5 will be added up to it. 2.5 will be added up to it. Did you get it? Did you get this particular point? That in case of numerator, we are basically having 1.5. Why? Because we are over here, we need to calculate the eligible tier 1 capital out of the PNCPS. Okay, so in tier 1 we are having the two capital, that is CET1 and additional tier 1. We know that PNCPS does not form any part of the CET1, so we will be basically taking the additional tier 1 capital composition, that is basically limited to maximum of 1.5%. okay, so it is 1.5 divided by, now the PNCPS can be a component of the component that is PNCPS provided for, and also tier 2 capital components may be related to the tier 2 capital also. So we will be basically taking a component out of it. So okay, so it will be 1.5 divided by 3.5 plus 2.5 and multiplied by 8.5, because basically we are not we are not basically going to calculate it from the CET1 na. So it will be total capital minus the CET1 capital, that is 8.5% given over here. So we will be calculating it as such. Okay, so it will basically say, using the simple calculator which is allowed in the exam itself, we can find it out as 1.5 divided by 6 multiplied by 8.5, and that is basically what? That is basically 2.125. So we can basically say the additional tier 1 capital component piece, so we can say the amount of capital, amount of PNCPS which is eligible for tier 1. So let me write it over here as such. So it will be what? It will be 2.125. So that would be the answer related to it. That is 2.125% would be the answer. It would be the answer related to it. Is that clear? Okay. So 2.125% can be the component of the PNCPS related to the tier 1 capital. Okay. Now let's move to the third question. Okay. So the third question over here, it says, what is the amount of PNCPS or PDI not eligible for tier 1 capital? What is the amount of PNCPS or PDI not eligible for the tier 1 capital? I want you all to answer this particular question. I want you all to answer this particular question, that what particular amount will not be the component of the tier 1 capital over here. So kindly please do answer at the earliest. Kindly please do answer at the earliest related to the question number 3, that which component would not be the part of the PNCPS under tier 1 capital. So the maximum percentage is already given over here. So the maximum percentage of the PNCPS is given to be 3.5%. And we have already calculated that the composition of the part of the PNCPS which is eligible for the tier 1, that is 2.125. So simply we need to subtract it and we will get the idea related to the composition of PNCPS which is not eligible for the tier 1 capital. So it will be 3.5 minus 2.125, and that is basically 1.375. So out of this, 1.375 is not eligible for the tier 1. It is not eligible for the tier 1, and that is related to the question number 3 over here. Is that clear? Okay. So now let's move to the next question, that is a question number 4. And further, the question number 4 says, what is the amount of tier 2 eligible for CRAR? What is the amount of a tier 2 capital eligible for CRAR? So CRAR for the tier 2 capital, what is the maximum composition of tier 2 capital? That is 2%. So it is already given in the question itself that the tier 2 can be maximum of 2%. So the maximum percentage of the tier 2 can be 2%. Okay, so how we can calculate it for the CRAR? Simply we need to do what? Basically the component which will be forming the part of the tier 2 capital would be from the PNCPS or PDI. So it will be either the 2.5% from the tier 2 capital, or it would be some of the component from the PNCPS. Okay, so we will be calculating it as 2%, that is the maximum composition of the tier 2 capital in the CRAR, divided by the 2.5% of the tier 2 capital itself, that is given to be 2.5%, plus 3.5%, that is from the PNCPS, because a part of the PNCPS can also form the component of the tier 2 capital, and multiplied by the 8.5%. Why we multiplied it by 8.5%? Because the CET1 component ratio is given to be it is given to be what? It is given to be 8.5%, and rest of the capital will come from the 17% minus the CET1 capital, that is 17 minus 8.5%. So we will be multiplying it with that 8.5% over here. That is what we need to calculate over here, and we can basically find out the answer over here. So it will be 2 divided by 2.5 plus 3.5, that is equal to 6, and multiplied by 8.5, that will amount to 2.833. That will amount to 2.833. Okay, now let me tell you one thing. Now out of this 2.833%, out of this 2.833% that we calculated, 2.5% of the capital is maintained as of that risk weight asset is to be maintained, and further the rest would come from the PNCPS. The rest part will come from the additional composition of the PNCPS. We have already calculated what we just calculated, that the PNCPS components which will be eligible for the additional tier 1, that we calculated it to be 2.125%. 2.125% out of 3.5%. And the surplus from the PNCPS was 1.375, that we have already calculated. I just wrote it over there, that is 1.375. Now out of this particular 1.375, the component which is going to be used in the tier 2 capital, that would be basically 2.833 minus 2%. 2.833 minus 2.5%, that is 0.33. So 0.33% component would be utilized from the this surplus itself. It will be utilized from this surplus itself. Is that clear? Okay. Next question over here, it says that what is the amount of PNCPS or PDI eligible for the tier 2 capital? So what is the amount that is eligible for the tier 2 capital? So that is the answer over here that we have already calculated, that is the surplus that we needed to calculate the surplus over here. Okay, so the question number 5, it says what is the amount of PNCPS or PDI eligible for the tier 2 capital? What is the amount of PNCPS or PDI eligible for the tier 2 capital? And I already told you that the surplus can be utilized as a part of tier 2 capital, and further we calculated the surplus as 3.5% and minus 2.125%, and there comes the answer, that is 1.375%, that we have already calculated for the question number 5 over here. So that would be related to the question number 5 over here. And further, the next question, the 6th one, it says what is the amount of PNCPS or PDI not eligible for the tier 2 capital? Kindly please do answer at the earliest. What amount is not eligible for the PNCPS or PDI capital under the tier 2, which is not eligible for the PNCPS or PDI capital under tier 2 capital? Kindly do answer at the earliest. So what particular capital is not eligible for tier 2 capital? We have already calculated the surplus, and the surplus came out to be 1.375%. It came out to be 1.375%, and I already told you out of the tier 2 capital, which is mentioned to be here. Let me just navigate to the table over here. So it is given to be 2.5%. It is given to be what? It is given to be 2.5%. And also I told you that out of this tier 2 capital, the amount which is eligible is 2.833. Now for this particular part, the bank is maintaining the composition to be 2.5%. Bank is already maintaining as given in the question itself. And further, the rest of the part will be taken from the surplus. That is a 0.33% part will be taken from the surplus, and the part which will not be utilized and the part which will not be eligible for the tier 2 capital from the PNCPS or PDI, that would be how much? That would be that would be basically 1.375%. That was a surplus minus the 0.33, because this particular part is utilized for the tier 2 and the other one will not be used because that would be an exceeding part, that would be an exceeding value, so we will not be utilizing that particular value over and above the 0.33. so it will be 1.375 minus 0.3333, so answer comes out to be 1.042. So 1.042 percentage of the PNCPS or PDI will not be utilized for tier 2 capital and will not be eligible for the tier 2 capital. Is that clear? So that is related to this particular thing. So we just calculated the additional tier to be 2.125. We calculated the tier 2 capital to be 2.8333. That is what we calculated. Okay. And the question number 7, that is the last question for this case study. That is the last question for this case study. It goes like, it says what is the total amount of the eligible capital? So what would be the total amount of the eligible capital? So kindly please do answer at the earliest. So we have already calculated all the capitals over here, and further we need to tell what would be the total amount of the eligible capital. So it would be what? It would be the CET1. It would be the CET1. And further it would be the additional tier 1 capital. Further it would be what? It would be the tier 2 capital, and further it would be the CCB that we are maintaining. So that is also an eligible capital that we need to maintain. So CET1, it is a maximum that you need to take. So we need not to solve it particularly for the CET1. So it will be taken as it is, that is 8.5%. It will be taken as it is, that is 8.5%. And further additional tier 1 capital that we calculated to be 2.125%, and further the tier 2 capital would be 2.833%, and further the CCB that is given to be 2.5% over here. That is basically 2.5% over here, and we need to add them up all. So it will be, the answer would be equal to 8.5 plus 2.125 plus 2.833 plus 2.5. So it comes out to be 15.958. So the eligible capital percentage is 15.958 out of the total capital of 17%. Is that clear? So that is how we can do calculate the questions related to the tier 1 capital and the tier 2 capital if given to you in percentage format. Kindly please do confirm if the concepts are clear to you. Okay.